perceive is a reflection of yourself.
That's, I had a thought the other day, actually today, because I'm doing it. And that thought was, or the idea or the concept, if you will, of where does addictions come from? Or like, where do they harbor? I mean, where is it stored in your body? Is it in your mind, your brain? Is it chemical elements inside the organs? Is it a thought? So I had that thought, because I think you're not addicted, generally speaking, of course, to oranges or fruit or spaghetti dinners or roast dinners or healthier options or juices or water. You're not addicted, but why? There's obviously a chemical difference between the two, or a significant difference in energy between the two. Your body likes one, it treats it nutritionally. It's things it can eat. And it does create smells and information for you when it's good. The smell of a freshly cut orange or mango or something like that, and then the taste of it. So you remember that. You're not addicted to it. It's more a good feeling, a memory. Because you use that information and you move forward. And if it's beneficial for your body, you drink it on a regular basis, but you don't call it, or eat it on a regular basis, but you don't call it an addiction. So let's look at the things that are addictive. Chocolate, sweets, alcohol, cigarettes, drugs, these sort of things. And it's not a feeling of necessity. And that's what I'm getting at. It's like, on one side you have all the good stuff for you, and it's a necessity to have it. Therefore it's not an addiction, because you've made that correlation in your mind. The memories, the learning, the growing up. But the addictions are something that it's not a necessity. If you break it down, can you live without it? What good does it do for your body? Is it something that is beneficial or sustainable? And your body enjoys it? Generally speaking, no, it doesn't. You get great highs and, euphoric moments from these things. It's not beneficial for your body. It's not a necessity. It's an addiction, it's a want. So there must be some connection between each of them. Is it sugar? I mean, is there sugar in the cigarettes? Is there some type of, is it nicotine, which then attaches to your brain, and then the sugar releases endorphins in the brain, and drugs release endorphins in the brain. So in theory, it targets a specific part of your brain. In science, I'm assuming. But does it? Or is that part of the brain that it targets critical for, a thought, or creating an ego mind, or creating a false sense of attachment? Is it memories and stuff like this? Because if it is, it's doing it. So it's trying to trick you. Your addictions are trying to convince you that they're good for you. It's like a thought or an energy trying to infiltrate your brain to make you think you need it. And that's interesting. Do you need it? Is it a necessity in your life? Or can you live without it? I think the key to getting rid of the addictions is understanding that it's not a necessity in your life. And I think if we're looking for a comparison to compare it to the food that you eat. Give it a comparison on an equal level. You know. And it's those sort of things. Like, are they attached to memories? Is that why it's so difficult to remove something? Because you associate this addiction to a memory of what felt good. I mean, that's pretty deep. You know, you feel like you're losing a part of yourself if you give it up. But what if you're not? What if you're taking that next step to bring in something that's better for you? And it's waiting for you to stop. And bring in more abundance and more positivity and wealth. And if you don't treat it like an addiction that it is, and you associate it with survival mode, like survival instinct, you're going, okay, is this necessary for my survival, for my life? You can think of it that way. You can think of it energetically. When I smoke, does it make me depressed? Is it calming, as they say? You know. We can look at all the chemicals and specific things like cigarettes and that, and it's the chemical elements that are causing the mind to think that way. Which just goes to show you that it's, in some situations in controlled environments, there are certain things that work. But it's also showing you just what's in the thing, you know, whether it's poisonous or harmful. So why would you continue something that's poisonous and harmful to your body in comparison to something that's healthy? Even though all of it is not good for you, you continue to do it. Why? Why is that? Why is it so hard? Those are the examples I've said. But it could also be masculine and feminine. You know, for a long time you work on your emotions, your energies. You know, you work on your feminine side. So you're in that mode, you know, which is love or unconditional love energy from myself, appreciating that side, those appreciations for things. And then you have to go into the masculine side. They both need to be in balance. You know, you can have one more than the other, but you use it where you need to. So you almost step up each time. You're never going back down. You step it up. So masculine, feminine, and it's always that way. You know, but keep it balanced. So what if you can go into this masculine energy, this masculine force inside? And that's the competitor, that's the one that you need to break free and let loose. Because that's your driving force, that's your strength, that's your power from Mother Gaia. You know, the warrior energy. That you can achieve it. Because when you think like that, those thoughts are more powerful than any of those egos. And the key is to keep it up. Because you let yourself down sometimes. And you fall back a little, and that's okay. everything is always awesome to do that. Why? Because no one's judging. You pick yourself back up again. You might tell yourself a few things, sure. But you know what? Keep going forward. There is no such thing as time. You only get older if you consider time to be relevant. So you keep going. You don't worry about time. And you pick yourself up again. And you re-get that masculine and you go for it again. That is the determination. So I think times call for these moments. So you stand up and you use what God's gifts have given to you. And you draw in that energy from that. You call it. You call that strength energy to give me the strength to go through this. And they will come for you. And you will be energized. And you can achieve it. And you keep it up. You never worry about shame or what people might think. That's just another creation. This is not their story. They don't need to know. You worry about what you need to do. And don't worry about what anyone else says. There'll always be time to go through that. And you can talk about that later. And it's where you're placing your focus. If your focus is on what they think, then that's where it's going. So you focus on yourself and you worry it like that. And is that a cure of how to get over addictions? It is another possibility. It is another way. It worked for me. It may not work for you. But it can. And if you can think that way, where it's plausible, it's possible, it can, it will. And you use that mentality, maybe you can kick that addiction out. Who knows?
With peace, love, and light.